How's everybody doing? You're doing okay? Well rested? I'm glad. So glad. How about the rest of you? How are you doing today? You know what? I am okay. I will just go ahead and share with you all now because this has been a weird start to this school year, but on Friday I had to have a little surgery to check and see if some cells that were growing in my body were cancerous. So I woke up yesterday morning and I yeah, I had to so they went in on Friday and they did made a couple little holes and they were just checking for cancer. So nope, I woke up yesterday and I got a message really early in the morning from my little my charts that my results were in. And so I took yesterday off to be with my husband, and we were just kind of hanging out, waiting for the doctors to give us a call. And they let me know yesterday that they are not cancerous cells. So we are very excited. Still healing from surgery, so that feels uncomfortable. So that's why I'm going to just keep my webcam off because I'm just not sleeping. I haven't been sleeping well, and I'm in some pain. But I am here today, and thankful that I don't have a cancer battle going on, and that everything turned out all right. So, yes, yes, I am good. I mean, I'm recovering, but knowing that those cells are not cancerous makes me feel a lot better. So Jenna, yes, Friday I had a little surgery procedure where they went in and got checked out a couple areas they were concerned at with and took some samples. And then yesterday morning, um, I got my charts, so I knew my doctor would be calling at any point. I didn't want to be teaching when he called, and I was incredibly nervous. So I decided to take a sick day yesterday so that I didn't miss him and so that I just felt like if I got on class it I might not be in the right mind state. So, and he actually called during what would have been class time. So, I'm glad I made that decision. I'm glad I'm healing and I'm glad those cells were not cancer cells and it makes me sensitive and just sympathetic for anyone that is dealing with that because uh, it was quite the scare. So, well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yep, I feel very blessed and happy to be with all of you again this morning. What's been going on in your lives? Anything? Tell me anything notable that's been going on. You slept good? Games? Anything else? Yeah. Turns out you're lactose intolerant. I bet. Oh, I wondered when we talked about that. I missed that. Was there a birthday? You got a scare too, Sam. Ah, if there's lots of snacks in the house, it's a good day. New light for your room. That's amazing, James. What a way to run. I am not a runner. I am not a runner. I always wanted to be, but I'm not. I'm not a good runner. Awesome. Well, let's jump right into things. We are looking at our fourth macro molecule group, That's so funny, Sam. It is not, it is our last macromolecule group here before we um take our unit 2 test. So we're almost done. Let's do, you tell me what you want to review. Do you want to review carbohydrates or fats or proteins? Which one do you want to review today? We might have time for all of it. A little of each. Everyone wants to do it all. Okay. Let's start with no, let's do lipids. Let's do lipids. All right. Let's fill this board out. What is a lipid? Tell me what a lipid is. Good. Draven says fat. Let's go ahead and start just putting it all up here. So fat. All right, we could put fat as a example. Fat is an example. A definition could almost be fat too, right? It's a molecule made of what elements? What elements? Tell me. Yeah, Draven put hormones in example. That's perfect. What's the main element that's in all of our rock star element that's in all of these? Yes, carbon, hydrogen, and one more. Oxygen. Almost. Almost. Yes, Tabby, the nitrogen is in proteins. The nitrogen is unique to the proteins in that R group. Perfect. So it's the definition, it's a molecule made of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Who remembers what makes the shape makes something really particular about this molecule? Does anybody remember? Ooh, Mickey is water, but you're right with this one too. Remember, it looks like the jellyfish has a head, and then it has all the little tails that hang down. It's hydro something. Who remembers? Hydrophilic or phobic. I'm sorry. Hydrophobic. Hydrophobic. What does it mean to be hydrophobic? Yes, good. It doesn't like the water, right? It has a hydrophobic nature. All right. What do we use it for? What do we need?
The hydrophobic nature of lipids, it like Caddy said in the chat, the fat and the oil covers is like our cell membrane, and because it's hydrophobic, our cells don't get waterlogged, so that we don't basically drown ourselves out, I guess.
Yes, no, that's good. Perfect. It's a protection, it's a barrier. The hydrophobic nature of our fats, of these lipids, are important for our cell membranes, and what they also are, perfect, stored energy. I love it. What's not an example of a lipid? What's not an example? It can be bogus. What's not an example of a lipid? Amino acids. Good. Mickey Mouse. right? Right? Like literally, it doesn't have to be anything. Amino acids. It doesn't even have to be scientific. Rocks are not examples. Okay. Proteins. Good. They're not examples. They don't have to be any of it. Those are all non-examples. All right. I love it. So these are what we call Freyer models, and they are super helpful. You can make these on your own, right? Put whatever you want in the middle, and then put the definition, example, non-example, and characteristics. So we could do this for all of our macromolecule groups. And depending on how quickly we get through today's lesson, we can come back and do carbohydrates and proteins, okay? So before we go into nucleic acids, though, I want to attempt to fill this out. What do you know about nucleic acids? Anything? Anything we can throw on the board? All right, so we're saying it's an acid. Hey, I'm not, there's no shame in that. That's taking what's up here that it's telling us. So let's look at that. What is nucleic make you think about? It is different than an amino acid. Ooh, I like it. Everyone's like, ooh, nuclear. All right. So, like, let's say it's some type of nuclear acid, right? We're going to say that. All right, why would we not? Nuclear, some kind of a nuclear acid. But if you were taking a test today and it was on nucleic acids and you were like, what the what? I don't know what that is. Mrs. Rittenhouse, why didn't you teach us this? Right? You could say, all right, well, I'm going to guess it's an acid. And I'm going to guess based on what it says, nucleic, maybe it's nuclear. Good. Genesis, maybe it's toxic. I don't know. Maybe it is. We're going to find out today. Ooh, I like it. We're leaning towards DNA and RNA. All right, before we go any farther, let's read these suckers. Who wants to read for us today? What specifically, and now you know why I'm using that as a transition, you two, DNA and RNA. All right, Lizzie, go ahead and read these for us.
Okay. Today's goals. List the ways RNA is different from DNA. What is the role of DNA in the body? How does the structure of ATP provide energy to the cell?
Wonderful, beautifully done. Thank you, Lizzie. I love it. So we're going to lean into DNA and RNA, and that's what our nucleic acids, these non-living molecules, are important for in our living bodies. So DNA and RNA, they are not living. They are not living. They are molecules. They are organic molecules. That organic meaning something that was alive or still is living, needed or needs for survival. That's what an organic molecule is. And these are the organic molecules that we've been studying this whole unit. Organic molecules. All right. Are our carbs, can't spell today, lipids, proteins, and now today are nucleic acids. These are organic molecules, the things that are not living, that are living, all living things need. Or we're not here. We don't survive. All right. Here we are. We're finishing it up today, right here. Again, this is another great chart. All right. So nucleic acids are made up of what? Just like proteins were made of amino acids, we have nucleic acids that are made up of nucleotides. All right. Similar to the other carbon compounds, the other organic molecules, we see that it's made up of carbon and hydrogen. They almost all have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, right? carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, H2O, right? Look, they all have like water components in it. So if you always like are struggling to remember these elements, remember they're made up of water molecules, carbon. We learned that protein was new because we added nitrogen, and then we add one more here with our nucleic acids, which is phosphorus. So they all have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen. Our proteins, they're special because they have nitrogen. And our nucleic acids are different because they have the most elements, and we see that phosphorus pop in there, okay? So let's take a peek at nucleic acids. Why are nucleic acids important? Well, guys, they legitimately make you. Can you survive without your own DNA? That's actually a question. Guys, no. DNA is the recipe book for you. You all started out as one cell, one single cell. All right. And we see here in DNA that it is made of two strands. Everybody put DNA equals two strands. DNA equals two strands. But where do you get the two strands from? Where do you think you get the two strands of DNA? All right, we're living, so we inherit them. Yeah, you're onto it. Where do you get those two strands from? Yeah, you get one of those strands from your mom and one of those strands from your dad, biologically speaking. Legitimately. You don't survive. You're not here if you do not have nucleic acids, this organic molecule that is not living, but it carries everything that you need for survival in it. Crazy? I mean, seriously. This is a recipe book for you. DNA is a recipe book for you. It tells your body, as you were developing in your mother's womb, what color of hair you have, what eye color you have, what your skin tone will look like, how tall you'll be someday, whether you're genetically a male or female, and what organs should be produced as you grow. Legitimately, this all comes from your DNA. You don't exist without this macromolecule. Does that make sense? Like, this is an important thing. You don't live, you don't survive, you have zero identity. No, you can't. You can't change your DNA. It's actually illegal to change your DNA. I'm getting some red X's. I need help from you for you to tell me what I can do to help you figure this out. You don't survive without your DNA. Your DNA is who you are. No, you legitimately don't. On the day that your little baby self was created, there was a half a strand of DNA that your dad gave up and a half a strand of DNA that your mom gave up. And those two strands came together. And that created you. And it started with one cell, and those cells started working together and reading your DNA and saying, okay, what do we need to make next? Just like a meal, all right? Just like if I'm going to make a 4-course meal for my family, I'm going to have 4 different recipes, right? I'm going to have like my bread recipe, maybe a salad or appetizer recipe, my main course recipe, and my dessert recipe. And I'm not going to serve dessert before my bread or appetizer, right? And so yourselves from day one started reading that DNA book, these molecules that were in one cell, and they started dividing and creating the things that make you. It's really easy to remember this, guys. Nucleic acids equal you, DNA. That is the recipe book for how to make you and who you are. Okay? What is RNA? Has anyone seen a copier machine before? Anyone seen a copy machine? Or knows what it is? All right. So what that does is this is a copy of your DNA, right? It's not the original. I don't know. I'll have to help you after class, babe. I can't help you right now. Do something else. Sorry, Mila needed help. This RNA is does anybody have a zipper on today? Like a zip up hoodie or something, or a coat? Do I have a zip up hoodie? Okay. Grace does. You have a zipper near you? Okay, grab one of those if you're there. Because what happens in DNA is it actually unzips. All right. There are hydrogen bonds. Tell me again in chat. Hydrogen bonds, are they strong or weak? We learned about bonds at the beginning of the unit. We were like, oh, hydrogen bonds are, yeah, hydrogen bonds are weak. And I said, it's really a good thing that they're weak. We want them to be weak. Usually weak is like associated with bad. Guess what holds your DNA together right here? These nucleotides. Each of these orange pieces are called nucleotides, and they are held together by hydrogen bonds. And they're weak because just like your zipper, okay? Just like your zipper, dude, what if it took all of your day's might to, what if it was really hard to undo the zipper on your jackets? Like, how annoying would that be? Okay, guys, it's time to go outside. Like, what? I'll be there in an hour when I'm done zipping my coat. Like, here, let me go ahead and eat a 4-course meal to get the energy to zip up my coat. If zippers were hard to use, would they be convenient to our life? No. No. And it's the same way right here with these hydrogen bonds in our DNA. There are times when our body needs to get a quick copy of our DNA to go make something in the cell. It's like, oh no, we need some more lactase for digestion. And so they run to the nucleus and they knock on the door and they're like, excuse me, sir, can I get a copy of that recipe? And so what happens is the DNA unzips this hydrogen bond, they break, and they make a copy. They don't take the original thing out of the nucleus. They don't take the original DNA. It's like, whoa, you don't want to be doing that. Does any of you know if you have like an automobile deed or like a deed to your house, something that you own? You get an official certificate that tells you it's yours. And then like if you sell your car or you sell your house, you have to like exchange that off. Does anyone know about that? Right. So I don't keep like the deed for my house or the deed for my car. I don't just like keep them on my kitchen counter. Why don't I keep those like on my kitchen counter or even just in the glove box of my car? Yet what happens if I lose that? You're right, Lizzie. You lock those suckers up. I have them in a fireproof lock box in my house somewhere. Yeah, it is bad. You have a major problem. So we don't want to do that with our DNA. It's like our DNA is like classified information, right? Our cells don't want to lose it. They don't want it damaged because they need that for survival. So they keep the DNA locked up in the nucleus. And anytime What if the other cell organelles need a copy of a recipe on how to make something from the DNA? They come in, they knock on the nucleus door lets them in, all right? They unzip the part of the DNA. They don't unzip all the DNA. Like, that would be a total mess, right? They just unzip the piece of DNA that they need and they make a copy. So I want you to type RNA equals DNA copy. And because it's a copy, it doesn't take both strands. You see how this RNA piece is only one strand? It doesn't need both sides. It just copies one end of it. And you'll see why later, because there's two pieces of DNA. All right. Let's go ahead and look at that now. See how these rungs are different colors? Red, yellow, green, and blue. Do we all see that? See how these rungs are different colors? Red, yellow, green, and blue. These all represent nitrogen bases or nucleotides. Nucleotides are made out of nitrogen, NN. Okay, nucleotides are made out of nitrogen. And they all match up. There's only 4, and they match up with each other really nicely, okay? So we don't need to make copies on both sides. The only reason we can even identify RNA from DNA is that it copies one of these 4 bases just a little bit differently. And instead of it having this T right here, this thymine, it codes it as a uracil. All right, so that's like does anybody like designer shoes or designer purses? Anybody? Have you ever like seen a knockoff of something that was like not the real deal? I'm with you, Lizzie. I don't buy expensive things mostly because I lose them. And so it's just not smart, even if I made a nice investment piece. All right, so like if you were to buy something Nike, but the Nike swoosh looked a little different, or like a Coach or Dooney and Burke purse, where it like they will make like a knockoff purse, but the design or the logo will be just like a little different. You know what I'm talking about with that? Yeah. Yes, Darian, like Lego brands even, right? Like you've got your legit Legos, but then you can go to the Dollar Tree like me and you can buy the knockoff Legos for $1 because my kids drop them down in the couch cushions and in the between the car seats and half of them get swept up in my vacuum. Plug your ears if you're a Lego person. No, but that's why I don't buy real Legos because they're expensive and my kids don't take good care of them, right? So this uracil right here in the DNA or in the RNA is kind of like an indicator of a knockoff. Does that make sense to everybody? If that uracil molecule is there and it kind of identifies it as, oh, hey, this is not DNA. It looks a lot like DNA. All 3 nucleotides are the same, except for, oh, wait, I found a uracil. So if you found a strand and you were like, I want to know if this is a strand of DNA or if this is a strand of RNA, I'm going to look down here at the bottom of this chart. RNA would have AUGC as the nucleotides. All right, so if there was a U in there, that's going to indicate that it's RNA. All right. Over here, if you find ATGC or if you see a T, a thymine, all right, you're going to know that it's DNA. Does that make sense? I'm not getting frowny faces. I'm getting happy and meh. All I need you to know is that nucleic acids equal DNA and RNA. Okay, I need you to know that most importantly. I need you to know that DNA is double stranded and RNA is what? Yep, single stranded, one. Guess what, guys? We're going to do a whole unit on DNA. All of this we're going to come back to and we're going to learn in detail. So I know there's a lot of detail and some of your minds might be like, oh, what the. All right. I don't want you to go too far into it right now. I just want you to know that nucleic acids are a non living organic carbon compound, organic molecule, and that we need these non living nucleic acids to live. Why? Because it's DNA. Our DNA is made up of this. We don't have DNA. We don't have our recipe books for our identity without these nucleic acids. Okay? We're going to come all the way back to how DNA, the shape of DNA and how the nucleotides they pair together. We're going to come all of this. I just need you to know that DNA makes you. It makes up you. DNA is a nucleic acid, right? Made of nucleotides. DNA is double-stranded, RNA is single-stranded. And if you can remember that the uracil goes in DNA, or a uracil goes in RNA, and the thymine goes in DNA, you're good. Okay? I know. You got this. You've totally got this, okay? Let's go to this quick check and see if this helps us, okay? Let's do some questions and make sure we feel good about this. Again, these may or may not be quiz questions. So let's do this. Draven, will you read this first question for me?
All right. Which statement best describes the role of DNA? A. It transmits genetic information to the next generation. B. It directly forms proteins. C. It provides a form of energy for the cells. Or D. It speeds up chemical reactions inside the cells.
Good. All of these are jobs of organic molecules. All right. But which one best describes DNA? All right. It's not a protein. C, form of energy. A form of energy would be our carbs and potentially fats, right? Because those are stored energy. So it's not B, it's not C. D, it speeds up chemical reactions. Who remembers what that was? What speeds up chemical reactions? Yes, Sam, yes, enzymes. And enzymes are proteins, okay? So it is not D, because this is enzymes. Enzymes are proteins. Forms energy. Energy comes from carbohydrates, quick energy. Stored energy comes from fats or lipids, so it's not that. DNA is not a protein. It's a nucleic acid, so we're going to get rid of that, which means the answer is A. Remember, it transmits genetic information to the next generation. It's DNA. It's genetic information. It's the coding book of you, right? It tells us how to make you. And then it's going to do the next thing for your children, right? You will pass on a piece of your DNA to your kids, and it will take it on and on and on and on until forevermore. All right, who wants to read question 2? You can go for it again, Draven, if you don't mind.
I don't mind it. True or false? DNA translates the information in RNA to make proteins. True or false?
Okay. I like this one. Let's see how you respond. Right now we're 50-50. So the answer is true. All right. Remember when we talked about the DNA being like a recipe book? It tells our cells how to make proteins. Truth. All right. So we have little messengers that go to the nucleus and, excuse me, can I come in and get a recipe for how to make so and so protein? And DNA says, come in, go to door number 75. And it goes to door number 75 and unzips it, gets a copy, right? A one-stranded RNA copy. Thank you. And then takes it out of the nucleus back to what we're going to call the ribosome. Puler, remember that from 7th grade life science. Back to the ribosome. And it says, here, guys, I have the recipe. Here's how we make that protein. And they make it. All right. So DNA is hidden, stored in the nucleus, and it does allow for RNA to come in and make copies to make things, to get information on how to make proteins and lots of other things that we need in the cell. Okay. All right. Last but not least, go ahead and read that for us, Draven. Oh, Darian is offering. I'm sorry. I didn't even see your hand up, Darian. Go for it, Darian. I see your microphone on. I don't hear you though. It makes me sad. I'm looking to see if I can help you. I feel bad, Darian. I can't hear you. Oh no. I'm sorry. Let's check your microphone and we'll get you on tomorrow. Deal? I'm so sorry. All right, so let me read this just really quickly for time's sake because I want to get you out of here on time. Which statement best explains how the structure of ATP helps provide energy to the cell? All right, we did not go into ATP today for sake. ATP is the currency of the cell. All right, this is like what you go to the store, and how do you pay for anything that you want? Tell me. They are, Sully. Money, right? You give them dollar bills. So I ate a banana this morning. I put that banana into my body. So what my body is going to do is take that carbohydrate. It's going to use that carbohydrate, but it's going to process it. It's going to break down that banana and it's going to make it take that glucose and break it down and make what we call ATP. Everybody type ATP equals energy. ATP equals energy. All right. ATP equals energy. I'm going to circle. The answer for this is A. ATP contains energy and the chemical bonds between its phosphate groups. It's A. It's talking about this right here. Okay. This is an ATP molecule. This is what our body uses to function. So right now, everybody wave at the camera, whether you're on or off camera. Everybody wave. Hey. All right. So we're waving at the camera. We're all using ATP right now to wave. Okay, our body needs energy to wave. To do that waving, we all just utilized ATP. All right. And what happens is there's energy in these bonds. So when we break bonds, we release what? Energy, right? Break a bond, we release energy. We break another bond, we release energy. So you can see here that as you break these phosphate bonds in ATP, that's what releases energy for our bodies to do something. All right. Didn't want to get into that for time's sake today because it just seems like a lot. So the answers are right here. Yep. ATP contains energy and its chemical bonds between its phosphates groups. All right. I want you just to remember ATP equals energy. ATP equals energy. DNA does translate information is true. Yes, it does. The recipe book for all things is in that DNA. And so we have a bunch of little chefs in our cells making up all the things we need all the time. So they're constantly running to that little DNA recipe book and grabbing copies. Well, that could be wrong, Sally. Let me make sure. Okay? Let me make sure it's correct in the autograde. Thank you. All right.
There's also 2 attempts on the quiz.
Yep, you have multiple attempts. You're right. So
Well, there's 2
please let
attempts
me know
on it,
as
actually.
okay.
There's 2 attempts on it, actually.
Awesome. Let me know, guys, if you think we accomplished your goal. Give me a circle or give me something on the board. Did we learn how DNA and RNA are different, what the role in DNA is, and did we talk about ATP and how we get energy from that? Yes or no? Yes, 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 yes. Oh, you don't have tools? Well, that might be why nobody was writing on the board today. I thought that was weird. Putting that on the board right now. All right. Have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow morning. I am sorry you didn't have those tools today. I wondered why everybody was being so bashful. You have a quiz to do between now and tomorrow. All right. And you have everything you need to fill out this chart, right? That would be my challenge. I teach, and then you guys have to put the reinforcement in during the day. This would be a great reinforcement piece, okay, to work on your own. Have a great day, guys. I'll see you tomorrow morning. All right.